Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, water bottle, and Carta.
Water.
Yeah, I was looking around for something to call my middle name, and I looked at one of my, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 water bottles in my room. So I gotta clean those up.
You have to add another one so you can have an even dozen.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Well, technically, I have a jug of water, so I guess that might count, like a gallon jug.
Okay, so you're good.
Yeah.
So today we have an interview with filmmaker Anthony Wright. He recently finished directing a movie that he wrote called The Ride to Nowhere. Will be out sometime soon. He talked to him about that and about filmmaking and the Northwest Ohio area and life in general and different things. He's a good guy. Known him for years. He's a really talented filmmaker. Here's the interview.
Yep.
First, I just wanted to thank Anthony Wright for joining us today. How you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing great. Just living the dream.
Yes, the dream. Everybody's trying to live the dream, I think, because the world's kind of a nightmare at the moment, but we're all just living in a dream. Yeah. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been living in the Toledo area for the past 28 years, and for most of my life, I have been an independent filmmaker. I've fallen in love with pointing a video camera at a young age, and since the age of 10, I have not stopped. I specialize in shooting weddings, promotional content for schools and businesses, sporting events, music videos, all sorts of content, really. And on top of that, I also shoot narrative films, and I've been in post-production on my latest film, The Ride to Nowhere, for the past couple months now, and we are ready to wrap that up very soon. And it's definitely been an exciting process.
Nice. What initially sparked your interest in film as a kid?
I remember when I was younger, from one of my friend's birthday parties, we went to go see a Star Wars movie, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And basically, I started to wonder a little bit, how did this get made? What was the process like? So, I watched, it was fun watching, the behind-the-scenes videos of, how they made those movies, and that inspired me to, I grabbed my family's old VHS camera, and we started filming, these, lightsaber battles in my basement. They were goofy, but,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And actually, fun story, the other day, I went to Conan, Harrisburg, and I got one of my VHS tapes transferred to digital, and last night, my parents and I were hanging out, we were watching one of the very, very first films I made back in 2007. So that was a really fun experience.
Nice.
It's definitely fun to relive those moments. So
yeah, it's cool to have your childhood on video so you can go back and watch it. Is there like a filmmaker or besides, I know you said Star Wars kind of interests you, but is there like a filmmaker or anybody that's influenced you like the most in your filmmaking?
As a kid, I really loved George Lucas. Actually, he was who I went as my for the Wax Museum presentation in 5th grade, and I loved his work. And then I loved Indiana Jones. Those were really fun movies. American Graffiti, that was a good one of his. And then growing up, more recently, obviously I'm a big Stranger Things fan, and I love the Duffer Brothers.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite shows. And I know I'm a little late to the game on this show, but I started watching Breaking Bad semi-recently.
Oh, wow,
and
yeah.
Vince Gilligan might actually be one of my other favorite storytellers in the industry. It's just like Breaking Bad's an amazing show. Better Call Saul, that just finished its run. That's amazing. El Camino.
Yeah.
All three. I think it's called like the Albuquerque series or something like that. His own like Gilliverse. I think he's just an incredible storyteller, and he's really influenced me recently. So definitely love.
I hear he's a nice guy. I interviewed Larry Hankin, who he plays the I can't remember the character's name, but he runs like a junkyard. He's kind of a skinny older guy that runs a junkyard in Breaking Bad and in El Camino. He said that Gilligan is like a great guy to work with, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'll have to take a look at that. He was in I know that guy was in Home Alone.
Yeah,
the first one. He was in he had a brief scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
And that's like obviously the greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time. Like I love rewatching that around the holidays.
That's like in my top like 10 of favorite movies of all time. Yeah, he was in Seinfeld and Friends and a bunch of things. So yeah, he's been around. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, and I love the cinematography in Breaking Bad. Like, it's just so, like, the choices they make of, like, camera angles and everything, too. That's very, I don't know, inspiring to me, too. You've got this movie coming out called The Ride to Nowhere that I've read a little bit about. Can you give us, like, a basic idea about what it's about?
Yeah, so this is a story about a young man who embarks on a road trip to visit an old crush, and he brings his good friend Zach along for the ride. And then the journey is just filled with countless surprises and unexpected turn of events. I was really a big fan of like 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a lot of John Hughes movies, because I love how those movies, like, there's funny moments in them, but there's also like more heartfelt and serious.
Yeah.
And another big filmmaker who inspired me was Rob Reiner. He made Stand By Me in the 80s. That's probably one of my favorite coming of age stories. And I rewatched that all the time as a kid, and he influenced this film as well. So I love Rob Reiner, Stephen King, like those kind of stories. And this movie was a lot of fun to shoot. We have pretty much all of our pickup shots done, and now we're moving into just getting little tidbits out of the way, like music. My buddy Jared's composing the score, and just additional little things for audio as well. So yeah, we're really eager to share this with everyone. I feel like this is going to be a film that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, it seems like it. What's your plan for releasing? Like, are you going to go to festivals, or are you going to just release it on DVD or in the theaters, or what are you doing?
So the plan when we're done is to submit it into film festivals, and then I want to get into like 3 or 4 just to like kind of like build the hype with it. And then the idea would be to have like, after like getting accepted into like 3 or 4 festivals, we want to have like a local premiere. The Mommy Indoor is a great establishment. I actually premiered my last film Monarch there, and that was definitely an exciting time. So yeah, there's a lot of fun spots we could premiere, but I think the Mommy Indoor is definitely one of the best in the area. So
yeah, I recommend checking out Monarch. I really enjoyed that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Maumee is a great place. I've premiered a few movies there myself over the years. What would you say, like, if there's anything that you wish you knew going into making your feature, like before you started?
Oh man, that's a good one. Oh man, what would I have known? What do I wish I would have known? Yeah, I mean, obviously the one thing it's get rain gear for your camera equipment, because we had several shoots I remember where it was just pouring down rain, and I forgot, like, I knew like my camera, like, it could handle a little bit of rain, but like there are days like it was like pouring, and we obviously had to like postpone specific shoots.
Yeah.
I looked everywhere for like rain gear for my camera. I couldn't find anything online, but yeah, I wish I, like, in like the more like the pre-production stages, I wish I invested more in like rain gear. That definitely would have helped. That would have helped speed things along a little bit too. But yeah, that's the big one. I know, like, just preparing for the elements. That's my big takeaway.
Yeah, I know in a lot of movies, like, they'll have what they call a cover set for that purpose, like where you can shoot another scene that's indoors, so you don't have to worry about it. But I don't know with a road trip film that you're doing, if that's possible. So it's kind of hard to do, you know? So yeah, I understand. I mean, that sounds like a challenging aspect, but was there anything like you found like overly challenging, like making the film, or did it go pretty smoothly?
I mean, for the most part, things went really smoothly. My cast and crew were super eager and amazing to work on this. And yeah, everyone came in, gave it their A+ effort. And definitely after editing the film for a while, you can definitely tell everyone came in guns a-blazing, ready to give it their all. And yeah, we're really excited to share this.
Yeah, where'd you find your cast and crew? Was it all local people?
Yeah, so most of the talent is from the Toledo area. I remember meeting our lead actress, Lee, at a Film Toledo mixer in October of 2022. That was I met her there, and I told her that, oh hey, like I'm making a movie right now and I'm looking for actresses. Would you be willing to audition? And she sent in her monologue. She did a fantastic job reading that, and she did another great job with reading off sides for the movie, and she got the gig. And then our two lead actors, Ben and Yusuf, they went to the University of Toledo, and that definitely helped out because networking in college is incredibly important. That might be the most important part of college for me. It was just like getting to know like amazing talent. Yusuf, we worked on a couple projects before we made The Ride to Nowhere, and I knew that I wanted him in the project. Ben, I reached out to, and he gave me a great audition, and yeah, just networking there was just incredibly important. And also, not besides from meeting some of the cast members, network. I remember my buddy Jarrett Cunningham. He's the composer for the film. We met in, I think it was like a film. I forget which exact film class it was. It may have been like a sci-fi class. I remember like we watched a bunch of sci-fi movies, and I met him in that class.
Yeah.
And he started doing, I think it was like shortly after that class, I reached out to him and I said like, hey, I'm looking for a boom operator for my new film Monarch. Would you be willing to help? And he ran audio for most of that production. And he also mentioned to me that he'd be willing to score the movie too. And he did a great job there. And he's now scoring The Ride to Nowhere right now. He's been very busy with that, and he's been doing such an incredible job piecing together the score for the film, and I think it definitely elevates the production. He did a great job at piecing all that together.
Do you have any like other music in it besides score, like any like local music at all, or is it just score?
There's a couple scenes that take place in bars. So my buddy Tanner and then another group called Erie Point, I reached out to them and I asked if I could play some like their rock music, like in that for like it's nice to hear like local music like in the background. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. And then, Erie Point, the band I just mentioned, they gave me the thumbs up to use a couple of their other songs for the movie as well. Like, there's like a montage portion, like there's some like fun, like they got like some fun like upbeat rock and roll music that was fun to add in there. And then a couple of other artists, Max Boyle, he was on The Voice a couple years ago. He went to my high school, Central Catholic, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm looking for some music to play in one of my coffee shop scenes that we shot. And he gave me the thumbs up there, and it sounds really great. And then a couple other incredible artists who let us use their music. TJ Sloan, I remember you worked with him. We worked together on one of the New Blood movies back in the day. Yeah, he let me use one of his hip hop songs for a scene. Yeah. And then another great artist is Jacob Sigmund. He went to St. John's. We worked on a couple projects way back in the day. He gave me the thumbs up to use some of his music. And I'm going to keep reiterating this. Like, there's so many... Toledo has so much underrated talent that like it's just so great to like incorporate in this project. Like you never would imagine, like everyone assumes like the bigger cities around here, like Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, Cincy, like that, everyone figures that like all the talent is like in that area. But I feel like Toledo is just incredibly overlooked. And
I mean, it's got great musical talent, great filmmaking talent, great writing, great stand-up comedy, even just like everything. TJ's a great guy too. I'm glad you're using some of his music. He's very talented. Worked with him on probably about 3 or 4 different projects. He was in Pi Day Die Day, which I directed as well. So he has one scene, but it's funny. Nevertheless, what upcoming projects do you have? Anything in the pipeline after this, or are you just still focused on this?
So the current plan right now is to complete working on The Ride to Nowhere within the next couple months. And I want to take kind of like a little bit of like a hiatus and then start to come up with new scripts, new ideas, because I don't plan on giving up on filmmaking anytime soon. this is something I can see myself doing till the day I die, pretty much. So, but yeah, the plan is to just like after making the Ride to Nowhere, take like a little bit of a break, and then after that break, starts to develop new scripts, new storylines, and then get something cracking.
That's good. I mean, sometimes you just need time to decompress too. I know that. I've done things where I've gone from one project, whether it be filmmaking or another aspect in my life, where you go from one thing right into another and you don't have that downtime and you just feel like overwhelmed. So yeah, it's good to have a little bit of a break, I think, and it helps your creative juices to flow. Was there anything while you were filming Ride to Nowhere that was like a funny incident or anything like that?
Yeah, there were some funny moments I remember. Oh boy, I was. It feels like shooting was such a blur, even though it was only last year. There was so many just really exciting moments. We had some goofballs on set, definitely. I remember Brad Hashem. He has a fun role in the movie. He was such a blast to work with. I remember going to one of the bigger shoots. Like I remember it was like a back-to-back 2-day shoot. And it was like they were both like all day shoots. I remember Brad Hashem. He has like I said, he has a really fun role. He was just such a goofball to work with, and he made it so much fun. I remember those days. That was such a blast. And I remember my cousin actually, Patrick McCarty, aka Guy in the 419. He has a role in the movie, and I remember when he came on set, it was just such a fun time because I helped him out with a bunch of skits back in the day. Like when I was like a little kid, and I remember, oh boy, it was fun. It was kind of like a fun full circle moment, like having him on set again, because it's like it was very surreal. Because like we made like these like killer doll movies, we made these like goofy movies about like a killer doll named Talking Tina that comes to life. I remember we made that one when I was like 12, and to like work with him again, like when I'm like 28 and he's like 40, it was definitely a surreal moment. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've known Patrick since he was a little kid.
Did you go to Central? Did you go to Central with Brendan? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went to school with his brother. Yeah, I was a little bit older than his brother, so yeah, I went. I think he was like a freshman or a sophomore the year I graduated. So yeah. But yeah, I've known them since I was at Central.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Yeah, and yeah. What do you see as like the future of filmmaking in this world with like things like AI and a lot of things in the world changing? Because mostly all that goes to theaters, and I mean, as an independent filmmaker, it's kind of harder to get your name out there, unfortunately. But it's like you've got AI, you've got everything being like comic book movies and sequels and remakes and everything, and it just seems like that's the only things that seem to sell nowadays. Do you see any kind of change coming? Or
I think people are gonna realize that AI isn't all as cracked up as it is, and they're gonna realize having just amazing writers, amazing cinematographers, amazing directors, they're gonna realize that like, oh shoot, this AI route isn't all that it's cracked up to be, and they're gonna look more towards us, and then realize that we're the real deal. And obviously what happened over the summer with all the strikes, it seems like they're starting to pay off more. Big corporations, big studios are going to realize that, like the writers and the actors, the people who are protesting are the real deal. And they're going to realize that somewhat of AI is, like I said earlier, not all is cracked up to be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the main thing I've always said, especially when it comes to writing, is that, AI doesn't have the childhood trauma of somebody. So or the memories or the the love affairs, the emotions, or whatever you need to tell a story. You have to actually have experienced it. I mean, it can learn how to somewhat replicate it.
Yeah, exactly. Like without those experiences, it just comes off like it feels like a product comes off like a conveyor belt, and it just isn't the same whatsoever.
Yeah, because I mean, you can tell AI to like write me a movie in the style of Martin Scorsese, but it's just going to seem like a fake Martin Scorsese thing because it doesn't have the emotions that he had or his writers had. You can't say like, oh, write something like Kevin Smith because you're not Kevin Smith.
Exactly.
So it's just like it might be able to sound similar to him, but it's not going to be him. Or those are the only filmmakers I can think of at the moment. But I've got a few fun questions here for you.
Oh, nice.
That are completely off the topic of everything. Okay, first off, Ariel or Jasmine?
Oh, Jasmine's from Aladdin. Yeah, I would go with her. That's one of my favorite movies as a kid. Robin Williams is a legend.
Who's your first celebrity crush?
Oh, snap. That's a good one. I would say when I was growing up, I had a big crush on Allison Stoner, who was like in the Cheaper by the Dozen movies.
Yeah.
And then,
she was
Toledo.
from
obviously around the Toledo area too. Actually, fun fact, I remember in 4th grade, when I was in 4th grade way back in the day, I feel old by saying that, I went to go shadow like a different like school. And then the same exact day, Allison Stoner came to visit because like she was like good friends with like one of the other like students in my class. It's just, and I'm like, of course I missed out on that day. Of freaking course. Yeah, she was definitely like one of my bigger crushes back in the day. Like she was in like, and besides from the Cheaper by the Dozen, she was in a bunch of like Nickelodeon and like Disney Channel shows as well. So
yeah,
she has
a good podcast all about like child stars right now. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really good. I've been listening to it. So yeah. What is your dream like travel destination? Like if you could travel anywhere in the world?
Oh man, that's a good one. Dream travel destination. I would say Hawaii. I've always wanted to go there. Like, I would love to go there in the wintertime sometimes, because obviously here it's been great for the past month, it seems. And like one of my big goals at some point like would be to just take like a week and a half and just go like out west to Hawaii and just like hang out there for like that amount of time, just get a good tan and then come back. Because like normally, I feel like that would be so refreshing and fun.
Oh yeah. What was your last Halloween costume?
I actually went as Billy Butcher as the boys last Halloween, and that was really fun. Like I got like the floral shirt from Amazon, and then like I got my hair cut and I like started to like adjust that, and I was walking around people. I was like, "Oi!"
I love The Boys. That's such a good show.
Are you excited for season 4?
Yeah. I haven't seen that spin-off show yet, though, the like Generation...
Gen V was really great. That might be like my most favorite recent like superhero show.
Yeah.
Like last year, like it feels like there was like a drought of content. Like there was obviously Secret Invasion from Marvel that kind of felt watered down. I saw Echo recently that was okay. But Gen V was just such a fun show. Yeah. I had a great time with it.
Yeah, the cool thing about The Boys, too, is that it's run by Eric Kripke from Sylvania, Ohio, so...
Yeah, didn't he go to, like... I think he went to, like, Southview or Northview or something like that.
Yeah, one of the two, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I've talked to him before. He's a really nice guy. I would love to get him on the podcast. I haven't yet, but he's... No, but he was, he created Supernatural and a bunch of other... And Timeless, which was a show that I really liked, he co-created, which unfortunately only lasted 2 seasons. But time travel, yeah. So
I know he came back to Toledo recently, and like tickets to like go see him sold out like that.
Yeah, I know. I was so upset I didn't get one. So yeah, I wanted to go see him. But yeah, Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi, definitely. I'm a big Mountain Dew addict.
Yeah.
Trying to change that. Like I've definitely been trying to like cut down on that. But like Baja Blast got back to the shelves recently, and it's just like,
I saw that.
So it is so freaking hard to sway away from that. Like I walked into 2024 thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna eat healthier, drink healthier, and it's gonna be definitely cutting out most of the carbs and all the sweets. And then of course I go on to Facebook one day and it's like, oh, Mountain Dew Baja Blaster back on the shelves at Walmart. I'm like, son of a gun. And of course, like I went there, got like a 12-pack, and I was like, okay, after that, I am done for a while.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I know. I mean, I've done that every year myself, like where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat a lot healthier this year. And then it's like, oh, tacos are so good or whatever. Yeah. You're just like...
It's challenging because like all the food and drinks that are bad for you are like also the best tasting, at least for me. So it's just, it's such a challenge.
And they're usually cheaper too. It's just like, it's like more expensive to eat healthy, sadly.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve, but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
The Living the Dream with Curveball podcast is available on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, everybody. Why don't you give the old Black Lincoln Collective podcast a listen? We're funny, we're fat, and we're here 24/7 at blcpodcast.com. Anytime you want to listen, anywhere, all your favorite podcast apps. Of course, we have a YouTube channel where you can stream live with the show. Check out our shorts. We're funnier the less you hear of us. That's been the Black Lincoln Collective podcast at blcpodcast.com.
One more fun question. Who is your favorite musical artist?
Oh, that's a good one, man. Favorite musical artist? Is this like a band or like a solo?
Either or.
I can give you my top 3 favorites of all time. I've always been a big fan of Led Zeppelin, Queen, and the Beatles. Those might be my favorite like musical acts of all time, definitely, because obviously the Beatles reshaped music. Led Zeppelin, I remember I was introduced to them like in 6th grade, and I fell in love instantly. And Queen, who doesn't love Queen? Freddie Mercury's a legend.
I know.
That might be like one of the most entertaining music acts in history, pretty much.
What'd you think of that new Beatles song that they put together?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was heartfelt. I remember I was on the way to the gym and I had the radio on and it said like, in just 10 short minutes, we're going to play the last Beatles song ever. I was like, ooh. So like I drove around like my area just to like wait and listen to it. And I thought it was really great. It was, I love the story behind it too. I don't know if you saw the short film.
Yeah,
on
I did.
YouTube,
yeah.
like how they pieced it together like through all these years. I thought that was really intriguing. And it's so surreal that a couple months ago we were still getting Beatles music, even though John and George are deceased. Like it's definitely wild. And then like obviously in the 90s we got Free as a Bird. That was really touching piece as well. So it's definitely, I've always been a big Beatles fan, and whenever they do anything, it always intrigues me. And I'm really happy that I managed to see Ringo Starr and Paul live.
Nice.
That definitely is, I can tell my kids I saw half the Beatles, and that to me is just really awesome.
The AI used on that was actually a good use of AI on the new song. But yeah.
Ringo came to the Toledo Zoo, I remember, I think it was about 10 years ago, and that was such a fun show. Like he played with like Santana, like there was like some like big names with him too. Like I think Toto was with him as well, and that was just a really fun show. I remember going to that with my dad, and we both had such a blast.
Yeah, because I love the Beatles. They're tied for my favorite band of all time with Counting Crows. I don't know why.
Okay.
I love. There's just something about Adam Duritz lyrics that like just whenever he released a song or whenever the band released a song, it seemed like they were like following my life. So that's just why it was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I can understand life now because they released a new song, that sort of thing. But, the Beatles are my classic favorite band. I listened to them constantly in high school. So final questions here. Is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
Any wise words of encouragement or anything fun? You know what? Go Rockets, go Irish. Those are like the big teams I follow. Go Lions, even though they choked last week. And
oh well. It's the closest they've gotten in a long time.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, on a more serious note, I would say, if you're in the creative field at all in the Toledo area, I salute you. Keep making great art and keep making a difference. That is my big message to all the creative folks in the 419 area.
And final thing, where can and or would you like to be found online?
You can find Anthony Wright Films on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested in following our latest film production of The Ride to Nowhere, feel free to check us out on the same platforms. We're always posting content, always keeping people updated on screenings, film festival showings, and all that fun stuff.
And we'll be sure to share the links to those in our show notes if anybody wants to find those and is too lazy to look it up. All right. Well, thank you for your time today, Anthony. If you ever like to come back on, like once the movie's done or anything, feel free to let us know, and we'd love to have you back.
Of course. And I know a couple actors and actresses would be really eager to talk as well. We're really excited to share this production with everyone, and it's going to be a fun ride. No pun intended. Yeah. Some people are getting annoyed with that analogy, but it's not that metaphor, but it's not going away anytime soon. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Okay, that was my interview there with Anthony Wright. Hopefully you learned something about filmmaking from that, what to do. And if nothing else, you've learned that the Toledo area in Northwest Ohio is a good place to find a lot of talented people, and people, whether it be musicians or writers or actors or comedians or whatever, you can find that. Any final thoughts here today, Sesame?
Yes, I learned everything about filmmaking from this interview.
Everything?
Everything. Yes.
How many movies have you made since listening to the interview?
-5.
-5. How's that possible?
Anything's possible when it comes to...
Did you do a David Zaslav and just, have a movie that was already completely made and just not release it?
Like Batgirl?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to re-negatify and to make that into a real thing. So Batgirl's coming out because of me.
Okay. You've heard it here first, folks. I wouldn't bet your money on it, but Batgirl is coming out because Sesame says so.
Oh, don't gamble. It's not, you're going to lose your money.
Okay. So anyways, folks, if you enjoyed this interview and you want to hear more interviews, let us know. You can message me at mike@cullenpark.com. Also, if you want to check out our show, you can go to all2real2.com and find all of our links there. You can follow us on social media. Also, we have a Patreon and a TeePublic where you can get some cool merchandise. And one of the best ways to help our show is to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you can give us reviews. Also, be sure to just share the show with your friends on social media if you feel like it. I'm not trying to demand anything from anybody.
Nope.
Folks, just remember one thing, that I love you. I'm sure Anthony Wright loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And Sesame loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.